So enhance learning with Microsoft tools on iPad. Microsoft services and tools power collaboration and productivity for students and teachers as well as businesses across the world. Schools that are already invested or exploring Microsoft education tools sometimes believe that a Windows device is the only option. In fact, blending the best of Microsoft tools on Apple hardware is a game-changing combination for education, and here at Jamf, we help organisations succeed with Apple. Today I'm going to show you how Microsoft and Apple work great together, but also deep dive in why they are better together. We'll look at the benefits not to empower only your teachers and students, but also parents, and how Jamf can make it simple to co-manage these two ecosystems. My name is Aaron Webb, and I'm the Product Marketing Manager for Education here at Jamf. Before joining Jamf, I worked in inner city schools in Hackney, East London in the UK, supporting teachers, leaders, students and parents with technology to enhance teaching and learning. In 2013, I became an Apple Distinguished Educator, and I've been part of 2 Apple Distinguished schools in the UK, building a successful iPad and Mac OS deployment that coexisted in a Microsoft environment with the Microsoft infrastructure. My role in schools was unique in the fact that I worked closely with teachers, coaching and mentoring them to become confident users of technology, but also a senior leader, developing strategic plans with technology, supporting the needs for teaching and learning, removing IT barriers, and ensuring a model that empowers users with technology. I also looked after the IT infrastructure and servers, deployed and managed devices, and looked after the Microsoft ecosystem along with the student management information systems and moving into a cloud working environment. I've been responsible for managing the Windows servers and Active Directory across multiple schools, blending Microsoft and Apple hardware. I have a hands-on, in-depth knowledge with experience from a strategic position, as well as in the classroom, remote and hybrid learning. I'm super excited to be sharing my experience with you today, and any questions you have, please feel free to reach out. So let's get going with today's session. We'll be covering the following topics. We'll start off with Microsoft Teams, which is a powerful platform for delivering lessons and content. I'll briefly cover and share the benefits of using Teams on iPad. The next part we will look at are the other Microsoft tools on offer, and the fact that Microsoft have their own suite of apps on the Apple App Store. But most importantly, how Microsoft apps work with the features built into iPad OS. We will touch on accessibility, one of Apple's core values that ensures that everyone can access resources, and look at the most popular Microsoft tools that schools are using on their iPads today. I'll dive into how Apple apps combined with Microsoft apps not only offer a host of skills to develop students and teachers, but also offer choice in their learning. This includes bringing in video, music, and the importance of coding to the curriculum. Finally, we will round up the session putting both teachers and parents' minds at ease with simple management features to ensure that they are empowered to support the students' learning. So let's jump in and kick off with a quick overview of the device that we're going to be talking about today, the iPad. So why iPad? Firstly, the hardware is simply amazing. High-resolution touchscreen powered by an incredibly fast processor with great battery life, perfect for the school day without needing to charge at critical moments of a lesson. The build quality is fantastic. It goes the distance, plus they retain a higher value than other devices as they age. The form factor is flexible. The fact it doesn't have a keyboard allows it to be used just as well in a beanbag chair or on the go. Innovative classrooms don't want to be forced to find a flat surface to work on their devices. For students or topics that need keyboards, there are lots of options out there to meet the students' needs. An iPad can be a recording studio, a high-definition video editing suite, and tons of other creative purposes. From a software perspective, iOS brought the simplicity and productivity needed to have a device with mass appeal. The ease of use is incredibly attractive. The user interface is super intuitive, and the act of discovering and installing new software from the App Store is welcomed in a world scared of viruses and spyware. Along with all those features, you have a device that includes the accessibility options that ensure all users, regardless of physical capability, have the opportunity to connect in their learning, and the platform to be successful through the use of cutting-edge technology. The accessories that you can purchase and use with iPad take the device to the next level. Add a keyboard and it becomes a powerful tool for document writing. Bring into the fold a pen tool and you have a canvas for amazing drawings and note-taking. It's not just a sheet of glass. It can be whatever you need it to be. For young learners, taking the device outside brings a new meaning to outdoor learning. It's a camera, a video recorder, a device to capture sound bites. For sports and physical activities, it's a device that is comfortable in the classroom or on the field or in the gymnasium. 1 minute you are typing at a desk, the next you are filming a jump shot, analysing a dance routine or critiquing a defensive play. No matter what subject, iPad has a place to bring value to the learning experience and help raise the bar. In summary, Apple created the world's best personal computing device with the iPad. They didn't start with the mindset of making a device that could be locked down, managed and controlled. They created a device that one person could love, and they've done a great job. The amount of apps available in the App Store means there truly is an app for that. With iPad, you are not locked into a specific system. It's an open path through the App Store to make the use of many other software applications and ecosystems like the ones we are talking about today with Microsoft. At Jamf, the reason we feel so strongly about Apple technology is because it puts students and users at the centre of the equation. So now we have our hardware overview, let's explore the benefits of Microsoft on iPad and how these two ecosystems can coexist in your school. So let's start with Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams offers the ability to instantly go from group chat to video call with the touch of a button. Securely connect, access, share and co-author files in real time and stay organised by keeping notes, documents and your calendar together. Microsoft Teams has been the go-to platform for schools to shift to remote learning over the last 12 months. Let's look at some of the benefits of using Teams on iPad. Microsoft Teams is a great tool for most schools as it is easy to organise and it comes with your Microsoft subscription. It's also a go-to for a lot of schools for meetings and posting work for students, and here are some of the benefits of using Teams on iPad. By using the native app that Microsoft have created on the Apple App Store for Microsoft Teams, it seamlessly integrates with iPad OS. If you have an Apple Pencil or another drawing tool, you can annotate and use that across the app. You have the ability to broadcast the iPad screen to Microsoft Teams, so no matter what app you're using or what you're trying to demonstrate, your class can see exactly what's on your iPad screen. You also have the ability to multitask with other apps. Now, you're not in Teams all the time, so being able to bring up another app that works alongside Microsoft Teams is a great way to be able to increase your productivity. You can also share files to class notebooks, so therefore you can leverage the Files app in Apple in order to drop it in with your class. And then you've got the accessibility, Apple's core value that works great with Microsoft Teams to be able to reach all learners. But this isn't the only app that schools are using to leverage Microsoft tools. Let's take a look at some of the others. Teams is just one app within the Microsoft suite. There are many more, but here are some that the schools are using in some capacity to complement Microsoft Teams. Starting from the left, we have Microsoft Outlook, a well-known email platform, and Microsoft have a dedicated Outlook app on the Apple App Store. Microsoft email accounts can also be configured to be used with the Mail app from Apple, or accessed through the web browser via Safari, or even Google Chrome. There are a number of options to help with the preference for the end user. The second in the core set of apps used as a workflow is OneDrive, where users can store, search and access files with colleagues or students. OneDrive fits in really well across the school, not only with teaching and learning, but from an admin office staff level. If we bring into the mix the next three apps, Word, Excel and PowerPoint, these Microsoft apps also are available on the Apple App Store, and you may even use Word and Excel within your Microsoft ecosystems for documents and spreadsheets already. These apps work online and save directly to the cloud. Many schools are opting this way of working to reduce the amount of servers on site and reduce the cost of technical expertise, but each school has its own preference as to how they want to work. Finally, next to Microsoft Teams sat on the end, we have OneNote. And I know many schools that have used this for student portfolios, for example, or even for notebooks. So that's a quick overview of Microsoft Teams and some of the other apps that are available on iPad. But where we start to add value is when we start to leverage the power of iPad and the built-in features of iPad OS. So let's start with multitasking. Teachers are very busy with lots going on. Students are also looking to juggle activities, pull content from one source, work on a project while watching a video, for example. How does iPad make that happen? With iPad OS, you can use multitasking to work with two apps at the same time, answer emails while watching a video, switch apps using gestures and more. Use the dock to work with more apps simultaneously. So let's see it in action. The dock lets you instantly open and switch apps from any app that you're in. You can even customize the left side of the dock with your favorite apps. And on the right hand side, you can see the apps that you recently used. You can find the dock at the bottom of your home screen. To see the dock while you're using an app, slide out with one finger from the bottom screen until the dock appears, then release. With split view, you can have two apps open at the same time. Here you can see I have Microsoft Word open with Apple Books. I can easily browse the book while still typing on my document on the right hand side. So now that we've seen multitasking in action, let's move on to where Apple offers a host of built-in features that enables access to content for all users. Accessibility. Accessibility is one of Apple's core values, and every product is designed with accessibility features built in, enabling everyone to learn and create in ways that work best for them. Because technology is most powerful when it empowers everyone. There are so many accessibility features built into iPad, and here are just some of them. This is the difference for some students in whether or not they can access learning. With accessibility, this makes learning possible for everyone. An example of accessibility features that are great to use in the classroom is the Speak Selection feature. This works within apps on the iPad, and here we can see a sentence from a Word document has been highlighted, and the motion of Speak Selection is tapped. The iPad will not only read out the words, but highlight the word as it's spoken. This is great for students that cannot read, or maybe don't have the language of the country they are living in as their first language. This feature reads back to them so they can access the learning and know what is expected of them. Check out the accessibility section on apple.com for further information on all accessibility from Apple. So what else does Apple offer? By offering Apple as a device, it opens up the possibilities. It's not a closed system thanks to the App Store. There are thousands of apps to choose from and dedicated apps specifically for education. Of course, Microsoft has their very own set of apps for iPad, and so does Apple. Both sets are free to download. Let's take a look at some of them and see what the Microsoft and Apple equivalents are. Starting on the left, we have the Mail app from Apple, which is the equivalent to the Outlook app that Microsoft offer. Apple offers Files, whereas Microsoft offers OneDrive. We then have Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. The Apple equivalents are Pages, Numbers, and Keynote. On the end, we have Schoolwork, which is offered by Apple, and FaceTime, both of which are sort of combined within Microsoft Teams to offer learning experiences as well as video chat. In addition, Apple also has powerful creative apps such as iMovie, Clips, GarageBand, and also the awesome coding app Swift Playgrounds. What is great is that by using Microsoft on iPad, you can offer a choice to teachers and students. Some may prefer to use Word, whereas others may want to use Pages. There is the ability to pick and choose which app works for you, and then to add the best of both ecosystems. Why not introduce your students to coding using Apple's Swift Playgrounds app, but set the assignment and collect the evidence through Microsoft Teams? You can mix and match, and they work great together. So let's have a look. Once you've established your core set of apps, it really does make professional learning easier. It allows teachers and students to focus on core apps that are non-subject specific. Once they have learned the function of the app, they become increasingly confident in using them both individually and together until they can app smash and create content which is purely focused on learning. Keeping the app simple and building up confidence is the key to success. Let's look at how you can share content created in iMovie and Swift Playgrounds to OneDrive. Here we have an iMovie about major speech. In iMovie, you can use the share icon to bring up a number of options. You can then tap on the three little dots to open up the OneDrive as an option. And then we can select the folder in OneDrive to upload the video ready to use in Microsoft Teams. The same process can be used with Swift Playgrounds when offering Learn to Code activities. Here, an introduction to coding lesson has been set with an assignment to complete the first level of Swift Playgrounds Learn to Code 1. What we can do with Swift Playgrounds is record the screen to capture the evidence and hand it in as a video attachment back into the OneDrive folder ready to use in Microsoft Teams. We tap on the share icon, the three little dots to bring up the Microsoft OneDrive option, find our folder and upload. So we know that Microsoft Teams is a powerful tool to organise and guide students down a learning path, distribute assignments and materials, as well as connecting through video. But how can teachers leverage Apple Classroom with the Microsoft apps to help them with classroom management? Apple Classroom is a powerful app for iPad and Mac that helps you guide learning, share work, and also manage student devices. The teacher can launch a specific app, website, or textbook page on any iPad in the class. They can share student work to a TV, monitor, or projector using Apple TV. You can even see apps which students are working in, mute devices, assign a specific shared iPad for each student, and reset a student's password. And when the class ends, you can see a summary of all your students' activities that they've been working on during the lesson. Here you can see the teacher using Teams and Word for the lesson, but Apple Classroom to monitor the student's device. We can see Michelle is using both Microsoft Teams and Microsoft Word on her iPad. We also have the additional management features like lock a student iPad and view screen of the entire class or individual students. But we can go another step further and bring another tool to classroom management that works as a companion with Apple Classroom. Let's see what tools are available to empower all stakeholders, including IT, teachers, and parents in your iPad deployment. With all these apps at their fingertips, students have the tools to take learning to the next level. This is so powerful, but with global content and information at their every demand, students need guidance and help to remove distractions to focus on their learning. The role of the teacher is becoming more of a facilitator as the students become more confident in their tools and express their learning through their own choice of apps and medium. But how do we empower teachers and parents to guide students in the right direction? By using Jamf, a school's IT administrator can enable a powerful set of apps. The Jamf Teacher app gives teachers the tools to manage their class and keep their students focused on their education. With the Jamf Teacher app, you can instantly restrict websites, apps, the camera, and much more. You can even lock all student devices at once with a custom message. Let's see how it works removing apps that are not required for a specific lesson. Here we see the teacher iPad on the right and the student iPad on the left. The teacher opens the Jamf Teacher app and chooses the class. We can see Michelle's iPad connect, and then the teacher selects App Lock. This enables the teacher to only allow the apps she wants her students to access for the lesson. Pay close attention to Michelle's iPad on the left. Watch the apps disappear and only leave the apps Miss Warren has selected for her to use. Michelle still has the freedom to choose between the apps that Miss Warren has selected for her. She's not only restricted to one app like she would be in Apple Classroom. This enables her to be creative in her learning but still remain focused and not wander off task. So let's move on to the role of the parent. Jamf has you covered with the awesome Jamf Parent app. The Jamf School Parent app provides management controls for parents, giving them the ability to limit apps and device functionality on your child's school-issued device. Let's see how Michelle's parent can help focus her learning at home on her iPad. On the right, we have Michelle's mum, who has the Jamf Parent app downloaded on her phone. Michelle's iPad is already set up in the Jamf Parent app, so she can scroll down and tap on Michelle. From here, her mum can turn off any distractions such as social media, games, entertainment, shopping and music on Michelle's iPad. With the app lock feature, Michelle's mum knows that Michelle's school uses Microsoft Teams for their learning. She makes sure Michelle only has the apps that she needs to focus while at home. This can be set for a specific period of time to ensure Michelle gives her learning the full attention it needs. With parents adapting and also juggling their own remote working or being at home trying to be teacher as well as mum and dad, Jamf Parent also works on Apple Watch. This is a fast and simple and convenient way to manage your child's school-issued device on the fly with just a few taps of the wrist. Finally, we look at the Jamf Student app, which empowers students and prepares them for their future. The Jamf School Student app gives students managed control over their own devices by empowering them with setup, controlled install, and messaging capabilities so they can get what they need from their teachers when they need it. Students can manage their own devices. They can install apps approved by the school and use documents stored in their personal iCloud drive so they're prepared for their learning. Empowering teachers, parents and students with these tools allows IT to ensure that deploying, managing and securing Apple devices is simple, intuitive and allows schools to focus on the mission of teaching students. So let's recap and go over why Microsoft and iPad can enhance learning and increase the productivity and creativity in your school. Starting with iPad, the hardware is simply amazing. High-resolution touchscreen powered by an incredibly fast processor with great battery life. The form factor is flexible. The fact it doesn't have a keyboard allows it to be used anywhere. For students or topics that need keyboards, there are lots of options out there to meet the students' needs. But the iPad can also be a recording studio, a high-definition video editing suite, and tons of other creative purposes. Microsoft makes apps specifically for the Apple App Store. They are free and available, and what's more, Microsoft Teams on iPad is a great experience for both teachers and students. The ease of use is incredibly attractive. The user interface is super intuitive, with multitasking built in to help with teachers and students' workload and productivity. Along with all those features, you have the accessibility options that ensure that all users, regardless of physical capability, have the opportunity to be successful users of cutting-edge technology. Apple apps work great together with Microsoft, and there are simple workflows built in to make them better together. Finally, with Jamf and Jamf Parent, you can make sure that students are focused on their learning, remove distractions, and facilitate a learning experience that is flexible for them to explore and express their creativity, but also safe and aimed at the task at hand. We believe for a school with a Microsoft ecosystem, Windows devices is not the only option. iPad is a better option. A best of both approach that offers your whole school community, teachers, students and parents the tools to make a difference. This is just the start of a journey. This webinar is here to spark a thought process, give students and leaders insight into the possibilities with iPad, but an ecosystem and a device alone is not the key to success. A key investment in your decision must be the development of your teachers. Invest in your most valuable asset, people. Apple has awesome software for education, hardware, deployment systems, and a feather in the cap is the teacher enablement resources. Apple wants teachers and students to succeed with their platform, and providing these resources makes it possible. Check out the Apple Teacher Learning Program for professional learning along with specific education events and programs to support you with Apple. Also, check out the Microsoft Education Center, where you can learn new skills and develop your journey with free courses designed for educators of all levels. These skills can be applied to the Microsoft tools used on iPad, so check out both Apple Teacher and the Microsoft Educator Center resources to bolster your teaching practice with two fantastic ongoing professional development programs. Thank you for listening, and you'll receive a recording via email when it's ready. If you still have questions once this session is finished, please reach out to us directly at info@jamf.com.